Hey y'all, I'm back again. Me and my blue suit, Grand Rising. As I mentioned, I'm doing a whole video haul. This is like, I think my 5th video right now. Could be the 4th one. I lost track. But I'm about to go into children in the school system. So stay tuned. I think you'll like this one. Alright. I'm over here snacking. But children in the school system. Sometimes my kids like going to school and sometimes they don't. And when they don't, I ask them why. And they'll explain to me how it's noisy, it's unruly, the teachers be yelling. Some teachers be saying some off the wall shit. Like, you don't like being here, then stay home. Like, they ain't got that choice. How you gonna tell some students to stay home? You're supposed to work with the child and figure out why they don't want to be there so that you can encourage them to want to stay inside the classroom to learn something new, right? And that's not what was going on. But just through their explanations, I said, it sounds like y'all in jail. And they said, we are. It is like jail. When a child speaks, you listen. Because my experience in school, I didn't feel like I was in jail. But in a lot of sense, especially for black boys, they do not like school because the school system is actually designed to control your mind. I don't feel that these school systems, it doesn't matter if it's public school, if it's charter school, private school, whatever. The school system was designed to control the mind. I think that children at a young age should be learning about the sciences. Chemistry, alchemy, biology, astrology, astronomy, mathematics. I think that they should be learning about the sciences. And they should be learning about spirituality. Instead, they teach you about basic math. Basic math can be learned at 1 year old. It shouldn't be being taught at, I think they learn it at 5 years old now. 5, 6 years old. It shouldn't be learned then. It should be learned at birth. I think that parents, they should teach their own children at home, even if it's in conjunction with sending their children to school. I'm leaning more towards pulling my kids out of school and homeschooling them and teaching them things that they ought to know. Things that's going to help them survive in this world. Things that's going to help advance their spirituality and free their mind and experience so that when it's time to leave this vessel, they know exactly where they're going and how to get there. I don't think that these school systems take into account anything of the sort. Now, school systems are supposed to separate, except for the Catholic schools, you're supposed to separate the government and religion. It's not supposed to be a conflict. It's supposed to be neutral. But they implemented the government up in there, and then they implemented belief systems in school, and they said that they didn't, but they did. Now, how can school systems have room for segregation back in the 60s? Still segregation now that we in our 2020s, because they implemented this toxin that's creating segregation, right? Now, why schools like prisons? Because one, the whole setup is like prison. They in this tiny little room for a short period of time. They get to go out for 1 hour for recreational time, and then they also get time to eat lunch in a group or whatever. They have one person, similar to a warden, who dictates what has to go on, what they should be doing, or whatever the case may be. Now, a lot of the teachers, they are not adequate to teach children. They're not. Just like what I believe for police officers, each teacher should have a psychological evaluation, because some teachers, they go through stuff. I mean, everybody is human. They go through stuff, and then they'll bring that stuff to school, and then they implement that shit into your child. That's why teachers are another influential point or aspect of a child's life. They get some stuff from their teachers, how to deal with certain situations, how to go about life. They get it from the teacher. The more influential they are, the more of an impact that they will have. Some teachers are molesters. They will touch your child, and your child comes home and you don't know what the fuck is wrong with them. But if you do pay attention to your child, you realize something's going on. You got to figure out how you can get your child to talk, because if your child don't talk, it's just going to be your assumptions, and then the perpetrator get away. But a lot of these fucking teachers are perpetrators. They need to be dragged out into the street and beat to the inch of their life. That's just my opinion. It may sound cruel, but I didn't say kill them. I just think they should be beat. You do not mess with the children. You do not mess with, you damn sure don't mess with mine. Like I said, and I'll say it again, and I'll say however many times people need to understand. You mess with my child, I will kill you. I will. So, I don't know if my video is going to get taken down, but I don't care. I don't play with my children. Anybody who plays with children, they need to be taken down real short. But it's like prisons. Even school buses are similar. You know, the transportation vehicles, they're similar. You know, I've seen some type of article online where they show the similarities between the school bus and then the transportation bus for inmates from, I guess, like the local jails to prisons. You know, they don't have rights. One of my oldest daughters was like, her school, you get a strike just for asking a question about why you was getting a strike. So you can't question what is going on, what's happening to you in the school system. Oh, you're in trouble. Why am I in trouble? Now you're in trouble again. What? Because I asked, why am I in trouble? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, and I'm very disappointed. And I tell my kids all the time, you speak out. I don't care if you get in trouble or not. You speak out because that's your right. You don't let nobody silence you. If you think something is wrong, you speak out. It's working all too well, because my youngest son, he speaks out often when I be telling him stuff. I don't think that's fair. You need to tell that to your teacher too. That's just me. But the school systems is designed to control the child, because once you control the child, that's the starting point to controlling the adult when they get out of school or drop out of school, whatever. When they come from a school system, the job is done, and now they can be more programmable when they become an adult. I think a child who does not go through life in the school system don't have access to much of the propaganda, the TV shows and stuff like that, radio, whatever. They're more of a free thinking minded person. It's just my opinion. All schools is not the same. It's not, all systems is not the same, but I think for the most part, where you find urban children, where you find less privileged children, whose parents is not doctors and lawyers, and, you know, millionaires where they can have private tutors, they have to be subjected to conditions that are similar to that of prisons. And when you think that you're a prisoner, you're going to want to rebel even more. So the system naturally is not going to feel right to you, and you're going to feel like you got to do other things in order to survive. Luckily for them, the system is also designed for the people who want to go astray. That here, you want to make life, you dropped out of school, here, sell these drugs. Where do you think the drugs come from? It don't just come from people who was like, oh yeah, I'm going to grow these drugs and put it out on the street. They was given to them. It's all part of the plan. Okay? It's all part of the plan. You haven't seen that kids TV show, Special Agent Also? That's what I'm getting that saying from. It's all part of the plan, because it is, and it's an agenda. So when it comes down to it, we have to take our children back. You know, stop letting them get vaccinated with every freaking thing that the government's trying to put out there. Oh, this is going to help them, protect them from this, now, and the third. Now, through generations of being born, and you see this in, like, insects and other animals. As time goes on, whatever you endure during your lifetime, and then you have children, it passes along into your DNA to protect it from whatever elements. It takes time, but it happens, right? So it's like, why do you continuously need these vaccinations when naturally your body should be not specifically immune, but an auto drive to keep that stuff at bay. So they already know how to recognize it. The antibodies in your body knows how to recognize the intruders, and they know how to deal with it because it's in your DNA already. So why are we still getting vaccinations for stuff that is not even going around in the world anymore? You ask yourself that, like, oh, is there an outbreak of tuberculosis, hepatitis, whooping cough, chickenpox? You know, is there an outbreak of these things? The government controls the schools. The government controls the hospitals. Right? So when children tell you, oh, I don't like school, it feels like I'm in jail, evaluate that. Ask them, why do you think you're in jail? Why does it feel that way? And they'll tell you. Like, oh, I think it's that way because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And you may want to either take your child out of school and put them in a different school, or you may want to homeschool them or do a conjunction. You may want to just go ahead and be present in the school more, because I know that when parents is in the school and not getting caught up in that whole PTA life or FIT or whatever the acronym is for the Parent Teacher Association, they get caught up in the drama. That's not why you're there in the school. You're there in the school to help out, lend with whatever you need to lend a hand, but also and to support, but also to be close to your child, so that if your child needs you in the school, you could be there when and however is needed, right? I just want to take my kids out. I feel like I could teach them better than this school system is designed to teach them, and that's just my opinion. I need to get knowledgeable about certain things, because I don't know if I just pull my children out, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to homeschool them, but I don't follow some type of online and I don't follow like some type of online curriculum, because they have like a K through 12 curriculum that you're supposed to follow or whatever. Like, what if I just want to teach them freestyle, like however I want to teach them, and they don't need to take no standardized test? I mean, the only thing is that they won't get no certificate from any accredited board of education, but so what? You know, why do they need that if I'm breeding my children to be in control of their own future by being their own bosses? You know, that's one thing that we need to teach our children, is about financial literacy. They don't teach that stuff in school. You learn about it in college if you decide to go in a career field that deals with financial literacy. But we need to teach that for our children now. How to save, saving account, checking accounts, different things, different vehicles that they can use. Banks is really not the option, because they steal your money. They don't steal it, but you give it freely, and then they use your money to make money for themselves, and then give you a percentage off of that. That's backwards as hell. You know, a lot of people, y'all don't know that, but y'all need to do your research. Financial freedom is one way to untie those shackles, unlock those shackles from the government. I think children need to learn about chemistry. If they learned about chemistry, then they can learn about biology, and those two together can help you. And botany, I think it's botany or botany, where you learn about plants. If you learn how to grow certain things, different chemicals and things like that that's going on in your body, you can make your own medicine. You don't need the hospitals. You can make your own medicine. You'll understand how the body works, what the body needs. And then when you become spiritual, you learn about spirit, energy, forces, and how everything is energy. Everything is a sequence of vibrations, and the way it manifests, it can be into a solid, it can be into a color, it can be into a sound, it can be into many different things. Then you can learn how to transcend yourself onto so many different levels. So the schools is not doing our children justice. Not mine anyway, because the lifestyle that I'm on and life path that I'm on, I need my children to get to where I'm at, because I don't feel like this is wrong. It resonates so deeply within every fiber of my being that I believe this is the right way, and I believe everything else outside of what I am talking about is a lie. It's a lie, it's a trick, and they trying to get our children. They like freaking children vultures. They trying to get the children, but the children is us in the future. How long did it take for you to wake up and say, yo, this shit is backwards? Or are you still working along in a system? You see stuff that's wrong and you stay quiet. You don't ask questions. You don't challenge it. I'm not saying uproar and riot. I'm saying ask questions. Why am I going along with this stuff? Why am I still paying for vegetables when I could grow vegetables for free in my house? You could go outside right now, gather dirt, put it into a container, buy your first real vegetables and stuff like that, harvest the seeds, and then regrow your shit and never have to pay for vegetables and fruits again. And that's really all you need to survive. Even water is free. You pay for water and it is poisoned by the chemicals from the plastic bottles. And don't let those plastic bottles sit in the sun. It then lets out more of those harmful chemicals, and that's what you're drinking every day. Then you wonder why people is getting cancer and or other types of inflammation in their body, because there's a lot of toxins that's in there that don't need to be there. Understand that any ailment is caused by inflammation. Mucus build up in your body. Do your research. It's not because, oh, it's hereditary. No, maybe your genetic makeup is saying that you're more susceptible of getting these inflammations in certain areas of your body, but it's really ultimately what you eat and how you treat your body that can make it manifest. It's the way you think as well, your mindset. If you don't change your mindset, then you're going to fall into that same old habit. Okay? But what you need to do is evaluate your school system. The one you grew up in, the one that your children is in, and ask yourself, is this something that's healthy and conducive for my child to be in? How do I want my child to grow up, and what do I want them to know? Are they learning that in school? Can you teach them that? So I really don't like these school systems. It's pretty much a dictatorship. It's a hierarchy of authority, and the children is the bottom feeder. They are the sheep. And the principal and then the vice principal and so on and so forth in the hierarchy, they are the government. They already training your child, their position, for when they get into the real world. And the principal does not they are in charge like a manager of the school, but they're not the person who gets to make all the decisions. There's somebody above them. Who they call those people? The Board of Education. There's somebody above the Board of Education. Who? I don't know. Some government officials. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that the hierarchy repeats itself in every sense of society. And it starts with the children. You got your principal and stuff, and then the children, you just do what you said you're told to do. Speak less, do more. Only what I say do. And then you be considered a good student. Pat on the back. Ooh, yay! Children are not allowed to fully express themselves the way they want to. They do not cultivate their natural abilities and talents. But then you have the gifted and talented schools. It's the same shit. It's just that they allow them to express themselves more on an intellectual level and give them more challenging things to do, because you know what? These school systems is also designed to filter out the ones who's extra smart, because the government want those people to work on their team. Like, we're all vehicles here. We're all property. We're all used to make money. You got to break away from that and learn how to do it for yourself. Get off of that grid system. If you can learn how to make electricity from a potato, why are you still paying for Con Edison? I mean, I pay for my electricity too, but I'm just saying, if enough of us come together as a community and we can pull our brain power together, why can't we make our own cities? I'll tell you one reason why: because they will shut it down. You remember Black Wall Street? You remember that? I think it was a whole community or town or whatever, where the black people got together, created a whole community of houses they built from scratch, and they was living there peacefully or whatever. And then the white people, not all white people, I think it was like a neighboring town, the government didn't like it or whatever, and it was like, oh, they causing threats or whatever, and it was some speculation, I think, of rape or something like that. So they went over to that neighborhood where the black community was thriving, and they burned it down, and it was killing people. So they are afraid of our capabilities and our abilities and our children does not belong in these school systems. Our children belong in our school systems. And I was thinking this a whole long time ago, especially during my 1 month break from YouTube. And I was like, why isn't it that, in this newfound community that I found, intellectuals, spiritual intellectuals. The only spiritual intellectual that I knew was my dad. And I used to feel out of place because I'm like, I'm on my spiritual journey. I don't necessarily click up with my dad like that because his viewpoints is not always my viewpoints. So to find a community where I found more people like myself, I was very happy. And I'm hearing people like, oh, we need our own school systems, we need to congregate, we need to link up, we need to fuck the government, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm with all of that. Yeah. I'm like, even if we use the internet platforms to have classes for our children from our more advanced spiritual intellectuals, to teach about alchemy, to teach about chemistry, to teach about biology, to teach about astronomy, to teach about numerology, to teach about spirituality. Why haven't we done so yet? I would love to do that. I would love to be a part of that. I'm no advanced person, but I would love to help facilitate. I would love to help facilitate. And it's not really, one person needs to be teaching children. It's a communicative effort of different people, because that's what a tribe is. That's what a village is. It wasn't just one person. It was a lot of the elders, a lot of the people who was knowledgeable, and they sat around and we taught our children the proper way. Tell me that's not resonating with you right now, because I know it resonated with me. That's what's natural to us. We get together and we communicate our knowledge. That brings peace. There was no fear. Fear is when you are not knowing of something. Broke that down in another video before, right? So we need to take our children back. I have visions of a better world. I really do. I've been called naive, and I've been called delusional, I think. Whereas what I can feel can be true, where we can live in harmony, whether it's alongside of what in my reality is going to be our former oppressors, or whether we live alongside of them, aside from them, or they're just not here altogether. But I see us living in harmony and proper community. And the respect is vibrant, colorful, vibrant. The respect is vibrant. How can respect be vibrant? In order to know, you gotta know. It's a vibration, but the respect is vibrant. And I see that, and I want that for my children. I want that for myself. I want to be around people who vibrate like me. Another video for another day, but I'm enjoying my path and my journey that I am on. I'm trying to go into being more vegan, cutting out the rest of the animal byproducts like cheese and eggs and stuff like that. It's been kind of hard, but people have been groomed to be addicted to food since you're a baby. You start out by your mother's milk. You're supposed to. You're not supposed to have that manufactured stuff that's Similac and Enfamil and stuff like that. But you start out by your mother's milk, and you're supposed to have fruits and vegetables when you're able to eat solids and stuff like that. And you're supposed to keep on with that. But then they made meat for babies, and they put them in little jars, and you actually give this to them with the cereal. Yum, yum, yum. You eating what I'm eating, but in baby form. That wasn't cool. So now I'm trying to get back to a natural state of health, because you are what you eat. If you're eating decaying flesh, then you become a decaying body, right? Your body's going to age regardless, but the more it's kind of like a car. If you keep the car maintenance well, it can last you a real, real long time. But if you put in junk stuff and neglecting your vehicle, it's going to break down. And if it's not worth fixing, it's going to end up in the junkyard. So I'm trying to get back to a primal state for my vehicle. And it's not easy. When I went to the doctor 2 months ago, I went to the doctor for my abdomen pains that I was having. and she thought I had a huge, massive fibroid. It wasn't even that. It was a tiny ass polyp. But anyway, she thought it was a huge fibroid. And she was like, oh yeah, I was on your journey before, not eating meat and stuff like that, but you need the meat. She was like, eat a piece of chicken, eat a piece of pork. I don't eat pork. I haven't eaten pork since my father came home from prison. And I wasn't even supposed to eating pork from the beginning, but because my father was in prison, my mother gave it to me anyway. But once my father showed me the parasitic worms that came out of the meat just by sitting it in the sun, I was like, ew, never again. And I stopped eating it. I was 7 years old. I haven't eaten pork. But that don't mean I haven't eaten pork byproducts, because I was eating gummy worms, I was eating gum, and you know, the gelatin is made from pork. It can be made from other animals as well, because it comes from the bones or whatever. But gum can be made from other things that resemble gelatin. I don't know why they just want to use animals. Animals is a toxin, it's poison. And then if you've seen the treatment that these animals get just to get slaughtered, is really horrible. It breaks my heart, the stuff that I've seen. So I really want to stop contributing to that. I don't want to drink cow's milk. I don't want to eat anything that uses animal byproducts in it. It's really hard. So the only option that I really have is to eat natural fruits and vegetables. That has nothing to do with animals at all. The hardest part is to implement that in my household, because I have children who I'm not trying to force, but I should be forcing, but I'm not trying to force them to be on a diet like me, but it will be beneficial to them. But it's hard for children who is addicted to all the highly processed, sugary, manufactured stuff, and then the animal products, because it tastes good to them. That's what they want. But it's all about programming. They've been programmed to like this stuff. They've been programmed to want to play video games. They've been programmed to a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to infiltrate that and break that pattern so that they can do better. But yeah, these schools is like prisons, and we need to evaluate what it is that we feed in our children, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically, because what we put into them is what they become. And we got to do better. If you know better, you do better, is what I always say. So I'm realizing, I'm knowing better. Oh, before I end, another thing about these school systems, I know y'all heard about the CRT theory, the anti-CRT theory that they implemented in the schools. Some schools, a lot of schools in New York City, the bill wasn't even passed, so they don't have to follow it, but some of them is following the anti-CRT theory rules. Now, what is CRT theory? CRT theory is I'll put it up here, but CRT theory pretty much was anti-CRT theory. Anti-CRT theory was implemented by some parents of Caucasian background who was like, I don't want my children to go to school feeling bad because y'all teaching about Black history and the KKK. But that's part of the history. We've been doing it for years. So in my opinion, it's not about making white people feel bad. How can you feel bad if you're not of that way? If you don't think that way, but your child is saying, oh, because I'm white, I didn't know. Those people did that. Just because you're Caucasian don't mean you should feel bad. You do better by showing that you are different. You don't discriminate. You don't be racist. You don't call no black person a nigga. You don't call them dirty or have any stereotypical views of them. You know, and black people got to do the same thing. You know, black people is racist as hell too. Racist against white people, especially because white peoples were the oppressors, but not all white people is like that. I don't believe all white people is like that. Some people is still being fed the toxic shit in their head to make them feel like they have white privilege. Some people do have white privilege just because of the type of family that they're in. But if it's wrong, wrong is wrong. And you don't have to allow your child to feel bad by trying to X out somebody else's cultural history. No, you don't do that. If that's the case, then X history out altogether in the school system. Don't teach about the wars. Don't teach about nothing, because in a way, that's teaching people to be anti. I don't think it's anti-Semitic. It's anti something. Whereas you saying that the United States is the best country in the world, better than all the other countries, because all the other countries want to come over here. The United States is a big ass bully. But yet we're taught to be patriotic, love your country. Why the fuck would I want to love my country? My country don't love me. My country don't even love other countries. Why do I want to model myself after the U.S. government? Why? So I think they're going about that all wrong. They're trying to X out Black history. They're trying to X out, the KKK portion of the U.S. history and what segregation and racism has done. I mean, segregation and racism has molded what the country is today. Those are the facts. Why are you trying to erase that from your child's history just because you think it's going to make your child feel bad? Is it your child feeling bad, or are you feeling bad? Or are you feeling bad for your child? I don't know what it is, but it shouldn't be no feeling bad. It should be correction, not deflection. So I don't agree with the fact that, I asked other parents who's Black, and he was like, well, I don't have a problem with it because it's now giving me a platform to teach my children the truth. Some people say, I think that's fair because, I think that it was implementing racism anyway. No, in order to prevent a repeat of the past, you have to know about it. So therefore, you know where to make the correct change and therefore move forward with a better and brighter future. If the child doesn't know where they came from, you're creating a docile person who eventually is going to blow up because they don't know why they're being treated wrong in the first place. So when they start to connect dots, they're going to be upset. Like, why the fuck didn't you tell me that my ancestors were slaves? That I was enslaved to somebody who was white, and this is the reason why they're looking down on me. Because even if they take it out to schools, you think that the families of these racist people is not going to tell them, like, oh, you're better than a Black person? Black people is not even human? They don't have human rights, they're animals? When you run away from your past, it catches up to you. The more you try to change the past without dealing with it, is the more you actually repeating it. Point blank, period. So for the school systems to be like, oh yeah, first of all, the CRT theory was something that was held for college courses only, to be discussed and debatable or whatever. It had nothing to do with K through 12. So white parents who was like, oh, because of the Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, it's going to happen. If you keep treating a race so bad, you think they're not going to speak out about it? Their children go to school with your children. What you think is going to happen? You think that one day a Black person not going to come up to you and be like, why do you hate me? Not knowing that you don't hate them. Correct the situation. Like, I'm sorry, honey, if you think that I hate you, I don't hate you. It's just that people who may look like me do practice racism, and I apologize on their behalf, but I am not like them. I actually love you. I think you're a beautiful person. I think your skin color is whatever. Teach your child to do better. You can't just try to erase our history from the fucking schools. You know how hard we fought just to get up in the same school as you? And now you're trying to take away our history? So then if that's the case, allow us to have our own school so we can teach our own children. Allow us to build our schools, erect our schools for the Black and brown community, and leave us the fuck alone. But if you can't do that, you always got something to say about what's being done wrong, how we're acting or whatever, because it's not conforming to your standards. How dare you try to take our history away from us? How dare you? I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of it. And this is the reason why our Black and brown kids feel like they devalue now, because we was already infiltrated in our damn homes, and now we're being infiltrated in our education. You controlling our minds to make us think that we're inferior, and we're not. It shouldn't be a reason why Black women feel invalidated because a Black man decides to go to a white woman. Love is love, and that's just how it should be. Love is love. But yeah, we do feel slighted. We do feel invalidated when our Black man is going to a white woman. Why? Because of our history. If y'all don't like what I'm saying, then help make a change. Change the narrative. Period. But that's just my opinion. I can't force nobody to think no type of way. I'm not the fucking president. I'm not. President don't even have no damn power. Biden is an asshole. Freaking what's his name? Trump was a bigger asshole. All other presidents before that, they were assholes. They wolves in sheep clothing. Y'all don't see that shit. Y'all don't see it. I'm over it. I don't vote. I don't care to vote. My vote don't matter. Oh, your vote matter. No, the fuck it don't. It never mattered. The fact of the matter is, what was it? African American. I saw the term African American is actually U.S. property. African American is U.S. property, isn't it? We're not even people. They tricked us. They gave us titles and shit because we didn't want to be called nigger. I'd rather be called a nigger than an African American, because at least nigger, we have more closer ties than when we originally came from. You know, but they done changed the word so many times and allowed us. No, we didn't choose shit. Let's get that straight. We didn't choose shit. They allowed us to have these terms, and then they conform rules and laws around those terms to get away with modern day slavery. It's a modern day slavery system in place, and if y'all don't know that, y'all better get up on it. It's a modern day slavery system in place, but you gotta know how to unhook yourself from it. Know your rights, your human rights. I'm not talking about some regular, oh, you can't do this, you can't. No, human rights, stuff that you gotta recite back to them so that you can leave you the fuck alone. It's kind of like when in a Christian faith, when a so-called demon is supposed to be approaching you, you're supposed to recite certain prayers and stuff to back them away. Back away, get thee behind me, Satan, something like that. Like, you gotta know how to recite your rights in a proper way so that you can back them up off you. Like, yo, back up off me. Like, something like that. Like, you gotta know, because if you don't know, they will walk all over you. They vampires. I'm trying to tell you, they suck you dry. But that's that. Because I could talk about that forever. I'm really passionate about the injustices done to black and brown people. But that's just me. But I'm about to come back with another video and talk about the prison system. So I thank you guys for watching. Please leave a comment below. Like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to this video. And follow me on Instagram, y'all. Bossness, BOSSNESS_365. And drop a comment, drop a like, drop a hello. How you doing? Grand Rising Goddess, like something like that, you know. Let's vibrate higher together. But first we need to know where we came from so we know where we're going. Not necessarily their particular origins. I really don't, I'm not at this particular point in my life concerned about being an Aboriginal person from America and all that other stuff. I've been hearing about this stuff way before I found my community. I've been hearing about this stuff from my father. Like I told you, he's an intellectual spiritual, or a spiritual intellectual, and he taught me a lot of things already. So a lot of stuff that I'm hearing now is not really surprising. However, I'm more so of the right here, right now. Let's focus on healing the right here, right now stuff, because we can't change any of the stuff from the past. We can be aware of it, but us trying to figure out which puzzle piece go where when we have absolutely no clue of where we coming from. If you ask me, I think us black and brown people is a combination of different tribes and stuff like that. I don't think we was just one type of people that came from the Americas, or one kind of people that came from Africa, or one kind of people that came from where. I think we was everywhere. I think the landmass probably was one big piece or whatever, or at least had land bridges, and that's how we crossed and everything like that before everything got broken up. Purposely broken up. It wasn't, I don't think that it was just nature. I think it purposely got broken up because that can happen. And then, you know, we just got lost through the different lies and stuff and reconditioning that we told us. Our minds is blank. Everything that we need to know about who we are, were, and where we came from and is now is locked inside of us. The DNA holds an infinite amount of information. So if we really wanted to know where we came from, I think that just learning how to master self is the way to go. Some people have done that or claim to have done that, and they think that, you know, we come from we're a star seed, we come from the sun, or we're part of the sun, or the sun is part of us, we're a high source of vibration, or, you know, so on and so forth. Certain things resonate with me, certain things do not. I keep that to myself because that's my path alone. I don't feel like I need to share that with anybody, or anybody needs to share it with me. The fact of the matter is that if you're getting on high vibrations, good for you. That's what you need to be doing. You need to feed your body properly. We need to reclaim our children, because our children is our future. And with that being said, I'm gonna leave now because like I said, I could go on and on. But peace and blessings to you all, and I hope to see you soon.